the controversy surrounding a former Red Sox beat reporter and the team's manager. The Globe broke the news this weekend that Jessica Moran had resigned her job at Comcast Sportsnet, as speculation has been increasing about the nature of her relationship with Sox manager John Farrell. Farrell, for his part, declined to comment, except to say that he's in the middle of a divorce from his wife of 30 years. Other officials with both the Red Sox and Comcast Sportsnet were also mum, except to say it's a personal matter, but there are many questions. Shira Springer is a sports reporter for the Boston Globe. Shira, good to see you. Joanna Weiss, former Boston Globe columnist, sad, and frequent contributor to GBH's Beat the Press. Good to see you both.
Thank you.
Let me, first of all, I'm not a moralist. I don't care at all what adults do with each other. However, in a situation like this, one of them had to go, right? I mean, there's no middle ground, is there, Shira?
No, I don't think there is a middle ground. I mean, this was unprofessional on both their parts. And I think when you have a reporter in this situation, let's be, get this out front, we don't know what went on. We don't know the nature of the relationship. This is a lot of gossip, a lot of rumor around this. But when you have a reporter who may be involved with the manager of your baseball team, you can't have that in the mix. It undermines his authority. She can't do her job properly. She can't be objective the way she needs to be as a journalist. So somebody has to lose their job.
Is there any other side to that, or is it no?
I don't think so. I mean, I think the main point is it is her responsibility to recuse herself, and we don't know exactly the chain of events that led to her dismissal or resignation.
Nor do we know how long Comcast knew about what may or may not have been going on.
Why can't she cover something else? Andrea Mitchell sleeps with Alan Greenspan, and when he was head of the Fed, and she said, I've interviewed, they never talk about business, and she didn't cover the Fed, so why couldn't she be transferred? There's a photo of Jess interviewing the manager.
Well, I think she could have, covered something else if they had caught this earlier or done something about this earlier. It seems to me, from what I've been hearing and reading, that Comcast may have known about this for a number of months, if not years, and they should have stepped in much earlier if that indeed was the case.
And that's what you need, is disclosure. You don't want the rumor mill to be churning, because then everybody loses credibility.
Okay, let's step back for the more important reason I wanted you both here is it seems what happened in this story makes your job harder. Is
Absolutely.
That women covering sports that is mostly male sports for them is difficult enough to begin with. We're sort of finally acclimating ourselves to that, but
that's debatable in some cases. Yes.
And do you not worry that next time you break a big story, some snide remark is going to be, well, obviously she got the story. She's screwing around with John Doe or whoever it is. I mean, isn't that?
You worry, but I'd like to think that after 20 years, almost 20 years in this business, that I've established a reputation where I can get the scoops on my own merit and with hard work.
I mean the generic you. I don't mean you. Okay. I mean, this is not the first story of the Red Sox, as we know.
Exactly.
Jenny Dell and Will Middlebrooks, good for them.
Sure.
She quit, they got married.
Does it set back women in the profession?
Yeah.
Absolutely, because there are going to be those snide remarks. There are going to be questions from other male reporters in the profession. How did she get this scoop? How did she get this insight about this particular player? Or how did she know what was going on?
And what did she not report that she knew, by the way, that maybe
exactly.
was news?
But I have to say, whether or not an incident like this happens, that goes on anyway.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, it goes on in sports, and it's unfortunate that sports is still an arena that has a minority of female reporters. I mean, there are workplace relationships that happen in every workplace, right, in every kind of workplace. There are relationships that probably happen between journalists and sources in every field. Sports is still different. It still categorizes female reporters in a different way.
Yes, and not only are there a minority of female reporters, but there are a minority of women in positions of power on the team side, too. So you don't have a lot of female executives, you don't have female general managers, you don't have female managers, so there's a real power imbalance or a lack of diversity within the ranks of teams as well as within the ranks of reporters.
Is there a policy that you can't have a relationship with the Boston Globe with a team or an entity?
It's called common sense. It's called common sense is the policy.
I understand.
I mean, seriously, it's journalism 101. It's basic ethics. You cannot be objective if you are involved with somebody on a team that you are covering. Period, full stop, the
Well,
end.
You didn't cover teams.
You shouldn't need a manual to tell you that as a journalist.
But I assume
honestly.
the same rule applies. You covered politics a lot, you covered business, same deal,
No,
right?
the same thing. If you're developing a relationship with a source that's different from a source relationship, you recuse yourself from the story. You say, I can no longer cover the story. And there are people who have to cover entities that their spouses or partners work for, and they will take themselves out of certain subject matters. That goes for editors too. I mean, this is basic professional ethics.
So we only have 30 seconds left. I know you've been around a long time, and so when you sort of bristled at my question a couple of minutes ago,
because it pains you
I
when this
understand that,
kind
but
of
for
thing
the
happens.
new reporter, I'm right, am I not? For somebody who's just on the job 3 years or 4 years, covering the Sox or the Celtics or some other team, unfortunately, she is going to be tainted by this, totally, or at least suspect because of this. Is that not a fair statement?
Yeah, no, it's a completely fair statement. It's unfortunate. And I have a feeling it's going to be something we're dealing with not just now, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now. The culture around this is not going to change. The snide remarks are not going to change. You can hear it on talk radio. Just the way in which women are talked about in the sports world has to change for all of this will sort of come afterwards. There has to be a major cultural change in the terms of the way women who work in sports are viewed. And until that happens, we're going to get those snide remarks about scoops we get and questions about how we got our various reports.
I wish I had said that. Shira Springer, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Joanna, you as well.